What up, everyone? Kickin' Tiger here. You know, we've been in Season 6 for a few days now, and it's been a lot of fun. Some really cool maps and some other things. But one thing I've seen pop up a few times is people commenting on different social media platforms, whether that's YouTube, Reddit, Instagram, other places, that Fall Guys is a dead game. Well, today I want to find out, is that actually true? So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the numbers and see how many people are playing Fall Guys, where that compares to other games, what percentage of players are PlayStation versus PC, what the overall population of players looks like, both historically and today. So if this sounds interesting to you and you want to find out, is Fall Guys a dead game? Is it dying? Is it stable? Or is it even growing? Stick around and we will dive in. So with that, let's go. We're going to use Steam charts to try to figure out how many people are playing Fall Guys. If you are unfamiliar with Steam charts, they describe it as an ongoing analysis of Steam's concurrent players. They measure the trends of games on Steam to give insights, and it's aimed to be a valuable tool to do so. And they say an unpopular game does not necessarily indicate a bad game, and vice versa. It's a great tool, and it's what we're going to be using to figure out how many PC players there are, and then try to also figure out how many PlayStation players there are, because Sony does not publish that data. The first number we're going to look at here for Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout on Steam charts is the all-time peak. And you can see here it's 172,026 people on Steam alone. Most of the time when people are saying things like, oh, Fall Guys is a dead game, they're basically referring to the fact that it came out and in that first week, it peaked so hard. Even today, a number like that would be a top 5 game on Steam. This is a pretty normal phenomenon with a lot of games. They come out, the excitement is massive, people rush to play the games while there were tons of streamers hitting the game hard, and then over time the popularity wanes. Now this is where you enter the period of wondering, is the game sustainable, or are so many people going to leave that we just need to call it quits? This brings up the question, how many people are playing Fall Guys today, around the start of Season 6? If we look here at the Steam charts data, we can see the 24-hour peak is 14,867. If you look down at the chart for the past 3 months, you can see that today's peak is pretty good, but it's not quite as high as things used to be back in the middle of September. Also, as I mentioned earlier, these numbers only include PC players. And if you're like me, when you play Fall Guys, that little controller icon next to people's name is definitely more prominent than not. What this means is there are more PlayStation players than there are PC players. What I decided to do was try to figure out how many more players there are. I went through 10 shows and counted the total number of players, how many of those players were PC players, and how many of those players were PlayStation players. Once I did this and was able to figure out the percentage of overall players, I could use that data to figure out approximately how many people are playing Fall Guys for both PC and PlayStation. Here's what I found after 10 shows in Fall Guys. I excluded myself from the data, but overall, we had 417 PlayStation players, 159 PC players. That's a pretty good split right there, 72% to 28%. Now let's extrapolate that data using the percentages we found here and try to figure out the total number of players split among the two platforms. Now keep in mind, these numbers are approximate and there probably is some margin of error in there. You know, it could be a few thousand higher or lower in one direction, but overall, this is going to be pretty close to what we would expect. This pretty conclusively shows that Fall Guys is not a dead game. Any game that can reach approximately 53,000 peak players in a given day is still very much alive. I decided to go on Steam charts and see what games are approximately in the range of 53,000 daily peak concurrent players. I had to look for games that were PC only because that's the only way for me to get a 100% accurate count of the players. As you can see, some of the games here that we would consider in the same range of concurrent players are also not dead games that are extremely popular and lots of people play them. However, while Fall Guys might not be a dead game or even a dying game, You could see over the past 8 months how it has seen a slight decline in its PC player base. This could be for a few different reasons. Maybe people are just getting bored of the game and moving on to something else. Maybe Mediatonic needs to do a better job of introducing new features and functionality outside of just events and more seasons. And as I'm going to dive into on a future video, many people are unhappy with the fact that they now need Epic accounts to play on PC and PlayStation. When they bought in, this was not a requirement, and some people have some ethical disagreements with Epic. I believe that is one of the primary reasons the peak for this particular season is lower than most of the peaks in the past. Heading into the future, what does the player base of Fall Guys look like? I think for now, you're not going to really see too much more decline or growth in the PC or PlayStation segments. But with the game launching sometime in the future for both Switch and Xbox, there will be a massive bump in player base once those two platforms are added. Overall, I think Fall Guys has a chance at a bright future. I wouldn't guarantee it. Mediatonic needs to do a good job managing the game and also do a good job launching these new platforms. Now, there is one other thing I haven't mentioned yet that I think can catapult Fall Guys back into almost that top 5 status, and that would be making the game free to play. Now, if you've watched my videos, you know I am a big believer that this is going to happen in the not so far future. If this does happen and coincides with the launch of Switch and Xbox, I predict we're going to see numbers greater than even that initial peak when Fall Guys came out. Definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comments, whether you think I'm right or wrong, and what you think the future of Fall Guys looks like. If you found this video enjoyable or helpful, definitely subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And let's go play some Fall Guys.